That shit is in this movie, and it is awesome. Logan. So Logan is the newest X-Men movie? I guess not really an X-Men movie. It's the newest movie in Wolverine's chapter in the X-Men universe. It stars Hugh Jackman as a much older, weathered Logan. He's taking care of a sick Charles Xavier. These two are at the end of the rope. They have had it, dude. They've had lives. They've seen some shit. The world kind of sucks now, and Logan's bitter. Then this little girl crosses their path, and some bad dudes are coming after her, so Logan and Xavier kind of get pulled into a world where they're trying to protect this girl and take her to another place. All the while, these guys are chasing them and, bad things and conflict. And there's a lot to love about Logan. First of all, from the get-go, this movie starts out and you're like, oh, this is rated. It's rated R. And I love where this not only pushes the character Logan, but also the actor Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman has been Logan for years, almost 2 decades now of him being Wolverine. He would know this routine by now. Like the back of his hand, man. Nothing surprising this guy anymore. Until this is a much more dark and bitter Logan. Like I said, this dude's had it, man. He's even done helping people. He doesn't want to help this girl. Charles Xavier in this movie was interesting for me. He's the element where I'm like, I didn't expect them to really have him in a situation where he's kind of a sick Charles Xavier. It is definitely an interesting take. The little girl in this movie, I mean, if by now you don't know who she is, I guess I'm not gonna use her name. Stupid, that's hamstringing me. I'm totally gonna use her name. X-23 in this movie is awesome. I mean, she is great. Not only is she savage as fuck, when she has to be. But she just, for the majority of the movie, she just sits there and scowls. But not just scowls. This girl has daggers. She has, I have had enough of your shit, bloody dagger glare. And she rocks that shit. I even liked Robo Arm Villain Dude. I thought he was great. Funny I call him Robo Arm Villain Dude. Usually you remember the villain's name. I just suck with names. Point is, he was actually quite menacing when he was on screen. He was kind of a snarky dick. And he held his own, going verbally toe-to-toe with Hugh Jackman. That's no small feat. Good job, man. I'm a gush about the action because it's in here. I mean, it's not the basis of the movie. It's not like X-Men Apocalypse. This movie is as opposite X-Men Apocalypse as you could get in the X-Men universe, or at least as we've seen thus far in the X-Men universe. X-Men Apocalypse was fun, destructive nonsense that I enjoyed, but it's not my favorite X-Men movie. Logan is actually a very somber, personal, deep character story about a couple of people, one in particular. It's not like X-Men Days of Future Past. It's not like X-Men First Class. I'm telling you, it's not like X-Men movies as we've seen them, but it's a great supposed final chapter for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So he says, who knows? Deadpool 2's right around the corner. When it goes down, man, and Wolverine just flips his shit and starts shredding dude, you're like, oh my god. I thought it was cool when Wolverine had a little bit of blood on his claws in the Wolverine. I was like, ooh, that's a cool detail. Now you see in hard R action how that blood would get there. And I really feel like the R rating was organic among this X-Men universe. Other than the fact that I am so thankful Deadpool made money that I believe opened the door for Logan to be rated R. But I saw a couple of people make a pretty good point in the international trailer when they saw Charles Xavier say fuck. So a couple of people were like, whoa, that feels weird coming from Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier. And that was kind of on my mind going into it. But when you watch this movie, you totally get it. Logan and Xavier are weathered. They are old. They have seen some shit. They're a really hardcore version of Statler and Waldorf, so anytime either of them was like, ah, fuck it, totally felt natural. You can totally make the argument that James McAvoy, Charles Xavier, told Logan to fuck off in X-Men Days of Future Past, so the character is not above it. But I agree, Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier, like, is that gonna work for him? I've never seen him do that. But I'm telling you, anytime either of them went there, they were that frustrated, it worked. Even my Mormon subscribers will be like, yeah, it totally fucking worked. This movie is long too, in that there are a couple times where this movie dips down and it starts to slow down from maybe you want Wolverine to shred more people up, but when it dips for a point and purpose and has payoff to that point and purpose. Now it's easy for me to gush about this movie, but there are things in my head I wanted Logan to do and be when I saw the trailer for Logan, and Logan was and did those things. I have a couple, not issues, but questions, but I feel like these questions are linked to spoilerish plot points, so I can't really address them here because, like I said, spoilerish plot points. This is not the spoiler talk video. We're not doing that yet. I can't address them until I do the spoiler video when this movie is coming out. And even then, they're not gripes. They're just questions that I have about the characters or what's happening with them or how X, Y, and Z may have happened. That's the fun of the YouTubes. Actually, civil conversations about comic book movies. But in the end, guys, Logan is a great personal story about someone who has had a super dark life, is done with all of it. But this little girl crossing his path just awakens something in him that he might not want to be awakened. It has has great characters, it has great supporting characters, pretty ominous villain. And of the cargo in an escort mission, if there's going to be one, it should be a little girl who could literally shred you from head to toe. Logan was what I wanted Logan to be for sure. Logan is awesome-tacular. It's basic Terminator 2 style. You have the Guardian, you have bad things coming after a person in which the Guardian is going to protect the person, and now you're just trying to get away from all of that and save the person's life. Straight up Terminator 2 with an army behind someone and a kid who really kicks some fucking ass. Alright guys, so Logan, you haven't seen it yet. This is pretty early. I'm gonna say that. But on the off chance you have seen it, or maybe you see it and you come back here, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. Or who's the best kick-ass character or kick-ass kid you've ever seen? Whoever they are, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.